concrete block or a piece of wood or a ball of clay. We are making. That is what we are making. What has God himself done to make him manifest? He has become the Bhutas, the Pancha-Bhutas, and so many other things which crop up as a result of this mutual combination of the Pancha-Bhutas. Bhutatma. He himself has become the Bhuta, and in the Bhutas he himself is stimulating, activating and employing the different Bhutas. He has become the whole creation. The creation consists of Devas on the upper hand and the inert particle at the end of it. All of them are equally revealing his potential. Look at the earth. Though we consider it to be huge, in the totality of the universe it is not even a small particle. The huge earth he has created. And inside every visible form of existence, there are atomic structures. And what is the power in that? What about the moon? What about the sea? What about the wind? What about so many other things? I am reminded of what Shaunaka asked Angiras in Mundagopanishad. After all, Srimad Bhagavatam, 80% is consisting of Upanishadic thoughts, Upanishadic discussions. We call 80% of Srimad Bhagavatam is Vedanta. Nobody knows about it. Many of you or most of you or all of you think that it's all stories and stories. I am receiving letters from many people saying that. Yesterday I had a letter. What does it say? Swamiji, right from young age I have been listening to Srimad Bhagavatam in the way of Saptahams. But none of the exponents or none of the expositions went a little beyond, even a little beyond stories and narrations. When I heard your Mukti Sudhagaram, something similar to this inner spiritual splendor, only then I knew that Srimad Bhagavatam contains such splendid magnitudes. I never knew about it. Yesterday an old lady, one of the two who came to the ashram, was saying, Swamiji, I am educated academically. I have been wanting to read and hearing a lot of Saptaham discussions. But only after hearing you in the Mukti Sudhagaram, I understood that Srimad Bhagavata is not a storybook. It is not merely a narration of history. No. It contains so many truths, messages, values, principles, all bearing upon human life, individual life, family life, societal life, national and global life. Now, these are the impressions we get. So I am reminded of Shaunaka, a great householder, going to Angiras, a hermitage, and you know what he asked for? Every one of you should reflect sufficiently well. Shaunakoha vai mahashalo Angirasam vidhivadupasannaha papracha kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavadīdi. Just see, a great householder Shaunaka was. What do you mean by saying he was a great householder? He was living in the house and performing all kinds of Vedic ceremonies enjoined upon the householders. The Vedic ceremony starts from Agnihotra, and there are a number of rituals to be performed periodically over the year and occasionally also. All these he was performing. Decade after decade passed. Now Shaunaka has reached a stage where he cannot perform any more rituals. To sit cross-legged before a Havan Kunda for long hours, tolerating the heat and the smoke, it becomes difficult. The hands begin to tremble when you make offering oblations into the fire. This is what happens. A question arises in his mind. I have been performing all this. The Vedas have enjoined them. So far as my performance is concerned, it's okay. But these are addressed to different gods and goddesses. They are somewhere high above, invisible. Have they reached them? Are they happy? When will I get an answer? He consulted many of the people, neighbors and the others. Mostly he was the eldest and there was nobody to help him. All were traveling in the same boat. Then he found that I won't find any answer here at all. Let me go to the woods and talk to some hermit who is there in a hermitage. Thus he goes there. And you know what is he asking? Papracha. Just imagine. All our performances are with the body, with the tongue, and perhaps with the mind. These performances have their own limitations. They are not able to satisfy the inquisitive intelligence. I have said perhaps already to you that 4 levels of human activity and expression are there. One is the bodily, the sensory one. Another is the oral one. All sacrifices are chanting mantras, reciting mantras with the tongue and offering materials with the hand. To some extent, mind also is employed there, but the intelligence doesn't work. So, the first level is the sensory level, the second the oral level. Beyond that, you go to the mind level, and finally you reach the intelligence level. So, Shaunaka, after having performed all this, lands himself in a questioning mood. What is that question? I want to know. No. No. There are 2 phrases, 2 suktas in us. Athato dharma jijnasa, athato brahma jijnasa. If you are a human being, you must have the enquiry, the dedicated search to know what is good, what is right, what is proper, what is not so. What will elevate me? What will enlighten me? What will fulfill me? In what way should I worship God? In what way will He be pleased? When and how I shall know God is pleased with me? If He is not pleased, what is the reason for it? This kind of an enquiry cannot be abandoned. Maximum it can be postponed. So Shaunaka is coming to Angiras, who is living in a hermitage doing his austerity and austere contemplation. Shaunako havai mahashalo Angirasam vidhivadupasannaha. In the prescribed manner he goes to him and then papracha, he questioned. This is what every one of you will have to do. You should ask God, my dear God, are you receiving whatever I offer? Are you pleased? When will I know? Will you talk to me? If you will not, where shall I go? This question should be there, must be there. Today or tomorrow. Our devotional life, our religious life, our yogic life, our ceremonial life will have to be elevated to the level of intelligence, where the intelligence is prompted to inquire into and know, as you find in the case of Shaunaka. It is the same inquiry that you find in Parikshit. Parikshit wanted to know what will relieve the grief of the human mind, what can give a full refuge to the human heart, by what process can the world's sufferings or the agitations caused by the world can be alleviated. What is the way to wipe off tapatraya unmulana, to bring about? This is the question. Not only Parikshit, Angiras is being asked by Shaunaka. This is the same manner, it is in the same manner that Arjuna sought it from Krishna. Arjuna was in the midst of the battlefield and war cries had already been raised. Even then he wanted to know. And his enquiry was, Karpanya dosho bhagata swabhavaha pritchami tvam dharma sammudha chetah. His question is very clear. I am affected by, engulfed by Karpanya dosha, narrow-mindedness. I am not able to understand what is true and what is proper. Yet shreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme. Tell me very decisively, clearly, what will bestow on me shreyas, supreme felicity. I am your shishya, instruct me, he said. Sri Rama at the age of 16 presented the same enquiry before Vasishtha in the palace of Ayodhya. My dear souls, today or tomorrow, your intelligence, your mind will have to come up with this question. There is no escape. A devotee should begin to question his own devotion. He should seek devotional fulfillment, not many lives later, in this life itself. Uddhava is asking Krishna, remove my delusion right here and now. And Krishna removed it. Uddhava went to Badrika Ashrama. Similarly, before leaving this world, every one of you will have overcome your delusion. Don't postpone it. Papracha inquired. What was the inquiry? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavadīdi. Oh Lord, kasmin vijñāte, by knowing which specifically or particularly, sarvamidam vijñātam bhavadīdi, all this will become known. The world is widely spread forth. It is endless in all directions. I want to know the entirety of the world, but I cannot walk around and conduct an experiment. So I want to know, is there any representative sample by knowing which I can know the entirety of creation. Can you understand? See, this is the beauty of it. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavadīdi. Tasmai sahovaja. Angiras began to speak. He said, Dve vidye veditavye. There are two, I cannot use knowledges, but I am using it as a special case. There are two sectors of knowledge. Dve vidye veditavye idihasma yad brahmavido vadanti. The supreme knowers of truth say this. Knowledge is not just one. There are two levels, two kinds, or two sectors of knowledge. Parajaiva paraja. It is called the superior, the higher knowledge, and the inferior, the lower knowledge. The superior and the inferior. And he defines what is the inferior one. Tatra apara rigvedo yajurvedaha samavedo atharvavedaha. What? When I read it first in Calcutta, when I was in my early 20s, I was wonderstruck. What? We consider Vedas to be sublime, serene and sanctified, and Angira says that it is inferior. So what is superior then? Tatra apara rigveda, yajurveda, samaveda, atharvaveda. Not only that, Shiksha kalpo vyagaranam niruktam chando jyotishamidi. In ancient times we had 4 Vedas and 6 Shastras. These constituted the entire gamut of knowledge to be gained by a good man, particularly the Brahmins. Shiksha means phonetics. Kalpaha, all the codes and prescriptions for rituals. Vyakarana is grammar. Niruktam means etymology, the words and their derivations used in the Vedic text. Chandaha, meter. Jyotishamidi, astronomy, including astrology. So the 4 Vedas and 6 Shastras together constitute inferior knowledge. Now you tell me for a while, what? We have got Vedic institutions. With a lot of trouble they are teaching Vedas. Some students go there. They spend 10 years reciting over and over again the Vedas. A great austere process. It is austere, no doubt. Rare, no doubt. But the fact remains that it is inferior knowledge that they are dealing with. And all the others are dealing with, in those times, the other ancillaries of knowledge. Nowadays you can extend it. So many subjects, physics, mathematics, chemistry, literature, humanities, electronic science, computer science, population sciences, everything, all these are Shastras. All of them are inferior. Athapara yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Then what is para knowledge? Yaya tad aksharam adhigamyate. Para knowledge is that by virtue of which the imperishable is known. The imperishable is known. What is meant by the imperishable? They mean Brahman, Atma or God. It is neither matter nor energy. Actually, Brahman is ineffable because of that. We only know matter and energy. And Brahman or the Supreme Reality, including God, he is not either matter or energy. What are his properties? His properties are existence, knowledge and bliss. That is why he is described as Satchidananda. Sat means existence, Chit means consciousness, Ananda means blissfulness. From such a thing called Supreme Intelligence, Brahman, how did the creation come? From the imperishable, how can the perishable creation come? Are you understanding the question? See, from gold, when you make an ornament, that ornament will remain gold. But here, the source seems to be imperishable and the creation seems to be perishable. How this perishable creation has come? The entity called Supreme Intelligence, how did it bring about creation? Tapasa chiyate brahma tatonnam abhijayate annat prano manas satyam lokah karma suchamrutam. This is from Mundakopanishad. Tapasa chiyate brahma tatonnam abhijayate. Tapasa chiyate brahma. How shall I explain it to all of you now? Especially in a situation like this. I cannot see you and you are not close to me. I am speaking from my ashram. That is where it is recorded, in the Samadhi Mandir. In front of a camera, the camera team, and 3-4 people, our own, they are by my side. I am talking to you. How can I explain it now? Tapasa chiyate brahma. Brahman, the Supreme Reality, Satchidananda, only by tapas, austerity, it is mentioned. Chiyate Brahma. The Brahman seems to be swelling, swelling, swelling with creational splendor. Tadonnam abhijayate. Tataha annam abhijayate. From that swelling process, tapas, the first thing to come to be is matter. Anna does not mean mere food. Food also is matter. But the root form of existence is matter. Annam abhijayate. And from Anna, from the tapas that is going on, the tapas started acting upon the Annam. Anna pranaha, manaha, satyam, lokaha, karmasu, chakhilam. Annad, that was mere matter. So the matter interacted with Brahman. Through tapas, it became prana, the cosmic energy, living force. And from there, manas, that sensibility, cognition, power of cognition came. Satyam, thereafter, the 5 elements. Thereupon, karmasu chamrutam, ceaseless involvement in activity and interaction. This is the account given in the Upanishad. Tapasa chiyate brahma tatonnam abhijayate annat prano manas satyam lokah karmasu chamrutam. My dear viewers, I am discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, considered to be a devotional scripture. And in the devotional scripture, Nimi is inquiring from the 9 yogis and Antariksha is answering him how the whole evolution and devolution take place. Just see, it's a part of a devotional discussion. So I am tracing it to the very Upanishads, from where Srimad Bhagavata itself has sprung. What is this Jnana Tapas? Yas sarvajnaha sarvavid yasya jnanamayam tapaha. See, the concept is put there. Brahman is only known to do tapas, tapas, tapas. What is that austerity? Jnana. Jnana, nothing else. Tapas is not merely an activity. where your senses or mouth, tongue or any other organ is involved, even mind. It is something entirely different. I don't have words to explain what is this tapas. It must have some supernatural elements of wish and will. Wish and will. Wish does not originate from matter. Much less will originates from matter or energy. But there is something called wish and will we ourselves have. And what are we? You can say a kind of a part or a particle of the universal spirit. So if we have the power of wish and will, what should be the extent of power and what should be the extent of wish and will of the Supreme Divinity? Think about it. Imagine a person, his hands are tied, legs are tied, he cannot move, he cannot do anything. And he is dropped into a dilapidated well where there is no water. He is dropped there. What will he do? He will do tapas. It is not an activity. It is not an interaction. His mind will still be thinking. His intelligence also will be wandering. That is called tapas. Brahman resorted to such a tapas, by virtue of which he started swelling and matter got formed. Prana, the cosmic life force, started getting formed. Thereafter, other things like mind, buddhi, elements and so many activities. This is how it has happened. Evam srishtani bhutani pravishtaha panjadhatubhihi ekadha dashadhatmanam vibhajan jushate gunan. We come back to Srimad Bhagavatam now, verse number 4 in the 3rd chapter of the 11th skandha. Evam srishtani bhutani pravishtaha panjadhatubhihi. Altogether in the world there are only panjabhutas, solid, fluid, gaseous forms of matter. Then we have different forms of energy represented by fire and the ground akasha. These panjabhutas pravishtaha panjadhatubhihi, through them their action and interaction, action, reaction, re-reaction, interaction, further interaction, like that. Ekadha dashathatmanam vibhajan jushate gunan. My dear viewers, will you miss the import here? The Supreme Lord, through Jnana Tapas creates the whole universe. And in the creation, matter was formed, energy was formed, cosmic force, cosmic life force was formed. Then Panchabhutas were formed. Now he puts Srishtani Bhutani Pravishtaha Panjadhatubhihi. So many things were made from the Panchabhutas. All of them, the Supreme Lord Himself, Pravishtaha, He entered. How did He enter? Ekadha dashathatmanam vibhajan. He divided Himself in a twofold manner. On the one side, He became the Antahkarana, mind, buddhi and ego. These are not matter. These are not energy. And then dashathatmanam. Dashathatmanam. Altogether 10 sensory organs. 10 sensory organs. Vibhajan jushate gunan. Through these 10 sensory organs, he is experiencing what? Gunan jushate. I am wondering, are you following me? See, it is the Lord Himself who has become. He divides Himself in twofold. On the one side, He becomes the mind, intelligence and ego. And He enters the Panchabhautik body. And in the body, 10 sensory organs are situated. And through the sensory organs, He perceives the Panchabhutas. And He experiences them. In which manner does He experience? As Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. Shabda means sound. Sparsha means touch. Rasa means taste. Rupa means color and shape. Gandha means smell. So it is only to sense the objects, the Panchabhutas, but we have 5 senses. And to deal with them, we have our hands and feet. After creating matter and the elements, he entered them. The Antakarana is called inner instrument. It is an instrument so far as we are concerned. Just like our hands, we also employ our mind. So the mind becomes an instrument. Intelligence becomes an instrument. Ego for assertion also is another instrument. So internally he became this. Externally he became the body. Further, surroundingly he became the 5 Panchabhutas. Then he started experiencing and interacting with this world. This is what has happened.